What is happening, everybody, man? Thank you guys tuning in to another episode of Expert Mentors Live. We've got the one and only Mr. Phil Stringer in the house. What's happening, brother?
What's going on, dude? Thanks so much for having me. It's always a joy being with you on these.
Yeah, dude, I love it. We were, talking to the mastermind group this morning, and just like, hey, because we were talking about had Kyle on last week, and he was, sharing top 5 AI tools that whistle beers utilizing and leaning on to, chase number one. Now it's kind of fun at EXP. Now we got some thoroughbreds in the race, right? You got, the Align team and what they're doing, pulling ahead of Whistle Beer. So we're going to have some fun competition as these massive, organizations continue to push each other to things that we've never seen within, the real estate space and real estate teamridge side of things. And excited to jump in with you in all things AI, the power of AI, the future of AI. But one of the things that I've been thinking a lot about, obviously down the rabbit hole with Moonshot podcast and really listening to Peter and the Moonshot mates. And, you stay way up in the clouds. And this is what I always tell people is like, man, there's going to be things that are flying over your head, but that's okay. At least you can start to hear it. But one of the coolest things that they talked about and they continue to talk about, and I think I can't remember where else I read it, but it was Eric Schmidt. And Eric was like, listen, the companies and the organizations that can learn the fastest will be the organizations that thrive in the future. And as kind of prepping for today's conversation with you, I was like, okay, well, learning and learn to learn fast, that's like a skill that has to be developed, right? You just can't randomly, hey, we got to learn faster. Okay, well, I hear that, but how do you do it? And I was like, man, I think Phil has one of the coolest stories of how do I learn to learn? And I'm like, man, like just you sharing that story of how you taught yourself to learn, because you built a system to learn, I think will be really powerful for people to understand, because you've got to have a process to learn to be able to accelerate that learning moving into the future.
Yeah, no, that's a great point. I think honestly, I kind of never connected those pieces until you and I talked through some of it, of like the way that I teach. People always say if I have a superpower, it's that I can take the confusing stuff, boil it down and explain it like they can understand it, right? So I always joke, I can explain it like a 10-year-old or a 90-year-old. Like it doesn't matter where you are in your walk of life, I can probably break it down and make it simple. And I connected the dots that the reason why I do that isn't that I'm a great communicator naturally. I believe it's truly because I taught myself how to learn. I taught myself how to study, how to take notes. And I'm not the smartest person in any room that I'm in. Like, I'm able to do well, but learning for me growing up was actually really difficult. And I had an unconventional kind of learning path, different from most people, where I basically had to take initiative and teach myself a lot of things in life. And so, by the time I got to college, I basically had my first real teacher in college, which is wild to think about and wild to say. But I remember when I went to college, I was so nervous because it was like the first actual classroom, setting that I had been in. On my first exam in college, which by the way, I had to beg to even get in because they're like, your transcripts are an Excel spreadsheet that you created. And I was like, well, yeah, I mean, what else am I supposed to give you? I grew up in this Amish town and whatnot. And so I got into college, but the first room I walk into is my first teacher really ever, like a public teacher. And I was so nervous, John, that my first exam, my hand was shaking and I got a 53 on my first exam. And I remember when I got that grade back, I immediately thought, you know what? Everyone else was right. I'm not smart enough. I have a hard time learning. Like, this is very difficult for me. Maybe college isn't what I'm cut out to do. Maybe I should just drop out. And I realized I had two different options. One, I could take the easy route and say, I'm done. This clearly wasn't it. They were right, whatever. The second option was I can commit fully for the next 4 years of my life to learn how to study, learn how to take better notes, learn how to comprehend things and not just read them. And so I decided to cut out TV and video games and everything else. And I said, look, I'm not going to do parties. I'm not going to, I'm not going to focus on anything but learning how to learn. And when I did that, I figured out how to actually study, how to comprehend things, and ended up graduating valedictorian in college. So taken from a kid who grew up in this Amish town, who had a hard time learning, honestly. I'm not saying I'm dumb. I'm just saying, like, for me to comprehend stuff, like, it takes me longer than the average person. I kind of have to go through it step by step, very paint by numbers. But then when I started this AI business of teaching real estate agents how to use AI, I began to teach the way that younger Phil would have needed to be taught to fully comprehend. And so I never tell people that, like, oh, I'm this amazing communicator. It's really truthfully that I have to explain it the same way that my brain has to process it. And I'm very, ADD, and I have to have a step-by-step system. So it's paint by numbers for me. And I think, that's a really good connection that I really didn't think about prior to having some conversations about that with you too. So
I just think that, we just try to jump in. Hey, you need to learn this, you need to consume it. But I think very few people have really broken down what is my process to learn and how do I do that? Right. So and I think that comes with trial and error, and maybe you don't even recall, you haven't even created awareness on how you're learning. And so whatever that process is for you, and I mean, like, you took it with the flashcards and being able to, just to have that memory, that capability to be able to pull in, man. So yeah, it was, it's really, I think, super, super important for you as an individual. What is your process? And then can we cascade that process into your business, into your organization, so that you can accelerate your team members in their learning, right? I think your job as head of your company is that you have to make sure that your people are in a fast-paced growth environment. And it probably helps if it shows up in your core values somewhere. And maybe you can tell me it's not that big of a deal. I don't know, because I know at my core how important is that I go to bed a little bit better than when I woke up. And I only want to be around people that want the same thing. So that's where it shows up kind of in our core values. But I think you got to have a foundation. You got to have a process of how we learn if you want your organization to learn faster.
That's true. And it's a love-hate relationship for me, because, the industry that I was in prior, if people don't know my story, I was a chief operating officer of a mega team in North Carolina. And so real estate is a background of mine. And then I started teaching agents how to use AI to sell more homes and save more time. And now, obviously, full time, I'm just AI, right? I teach people, I speak. That's what I do. It's a love-hate relationship for me, because it's great, because with AI, you never run out of content, because there is something new every single day. It's kind of frustrating, though, because you have to continually, every single day, be plugged in to what's going on, how is it changing. And I know for a lot of people, it's frustrating because technology is moving so quickly that they feel left behind if they don't get updated on the newest thing today. And everyone's telling you online, oh, you're so far behind if you're not doing this one thing. And so for me, it's almost forced me to be a constant, lifelong, everyday learner, because I have to learn it in order to teach it to other people. So it's kind of a weird balance of, like, man, this is exhausting almost, because I have to learn every day. But I almost enjoy the fact that it has pushed me to be like, no, like, I do weekly calls for my inner circle mastermind group. And I have to know what's going on every single week. There is not a week that I can slack off. And for the past 3 years, I've never missed one of those where we teach people, here's what's going on this week. I like it because it forces me to learn, but it is like, wow, this is overwhelming. I think to a lot of people, the way that AI is moving so fast is overwhelming to a majority.
Is it because of the speed? Is that what scares some people? Is that sometimes things are moving too fast for their comfort level?
Too fast, for sure. I mean, anytime we have to learn a new app or a new software or learn a new system. I mean, that's been going on forever, where it's like you almost feel like this whiplash of like, oh, I just got this new computer and then this other, device came out and now there's the new one. But I think it's also a little bit fear of the quality that it's getting to, because, we don't want our jobs to be replaced by AI. And in reality, AI is replacing a lot of the tasks that we had to do before. I think the thing that's exciting to me is that the tasks that it's truly replacing in a quality way are the things that, the admin work that we had to do that's not relational. And so I
Mhm.
think if we can get AI to really replace a lot of the admin stuff that we have to do that's not building relationships with our clients, we will then have more time to be more relatable and more human. So lean into the AI to get rid of all the stuff that, you have to do anyway, but it's going to give you more time to actually be more human with your clients, which is that's the whole game, right?
Yeah. Yeah, it really is, right? And I think it's the future. I mean, Dan Kennedy nailed it, 40 years ago, mastermind, bring people together. And it's really just, I've really moved into this world, Phil, of, it's not trust and verify, it's verify then trust. And I just,
Mm.
I don't know if that's right or wrong, but it's just like keeping my guard up. Okay, what's real? And let me see before, I'm going to just, blindly give you my trust. I want to make sure that everything you're talking about is legit. So I love that. Other than like tapping in, paying attention to you, what are some of the best go-to resources to stay plugged into, to where you're constantly getting that drip, to where they can, kind of stay informed at what's happening?
For me, it's YouTube. There's just a lot of really good content on YouTube. The only thing is you have to be really careful, because a lot of the AI tips and tricks, if you're on Instagram and you're looking through reels and you find all these tips and these hacks, a lot of them are meant to drive views, right? And
Mm-hmm.
so there's a lot of information that's not necessarily true. It's just fear or trying to hype up something that really doesn't do anything for your business, but it's really cool to see. And to me, the hype stuff, like, you have to have a pretty good filter if you're going to go to Instagram, TikTok, YouTube to get your AI, news or updates. There's
Yeah.
a ton of great stuff out there, but there's also a majority of it is they're doing their job to hook you in and to sell this sexy hype that isn't really, necessary for your business. So you really do have to have a good filter of like, is this going to move the needle for me, or is this just a cool thing that is getting a lot of views and clicks right now?
That's a great point, right? I think, what's the intent of this piece of content? Is it meant to get views, to get clicks, or is it they don't care about that? They're just wanting to, get the thoughts out of their head and just create, just pure value add content. That's why, if you can't decipher and you get sucked into the fear side of things, I mean, you want to be overly optimistic. I mean, that's where the Moonshots podcast comes in, right? I mean, Peter is optimistic to a fault, which is probably not a bad way to live life. And so being able to be in tune with those guys, and like I was telling you, I mean, there's so much stuff that flies over your head, but at least I'm kind of in tune to what's happening and what's happening behind the scenes. Those guys know everything. They know all the moves. They know everything that's coming, everything that's happening. So I think that has been a great resource. It really rejuvenated me by getting plugged back into that. And I think it was the optimistic future, the abundance side of things that, I mean, it's just a better feeling than the fearful side of things. So,
and
just
it expands your mind. I mean, if nothing else, it's not like listening to Moonshots is going to inspire you to, create some crazy thing. It's really just inspiring your mind to expand to new possibilities. Because truthfully, before all of this, knowledge was probably the most valuable skill set. Because if I didn't know how to create a software, but I had this great creative idea of like, oh, this would really help agents, but I need a developer who has the knowledge of knowing how to code something to create this. And I have to spend money for the person that had knowledge. Before, knowledge was that gatekeeper. Knowledge was the most important skill because I couldn't create my creativity without having someone who knows code, for an example. Well, now AI has leveled the playing field for all of us to where now knowledge is no longer the most important skill, it's creativity.
Mm,
Can you think of something that you feel like you could create? And now AI can be the knowledge for you. You're the creativity. You go to AI with your creative idea, and AI has the knowledge of how to build it. So now creativity unlocks this massive thing. Can we communicate our creative idea? And if you can communicate a creative idea, you don't even need the knowledge anymore. So now our job has completely changed. And this is within the last year. We are no longer a user of AI. We're truly now a manager of a team. And if we can come up with these creative ideas, we manage the team to create them.
mm. Dude, that's so good. So good. And I mean, I 100% agree. We're in such a creative, like architectural, redesign it however you want to design it type phase. And most real estate agents, I mean, they're small, right? Under 50 team members total, right? Massive majority, what, 95% of real estate teams, organizations are smaller than 50 agents. So when you live in that creative world without so much complexity, you can redesign as you want. Now you get a little bigger, like Whistle Beer. They're a little too big to just completely redesign everything, but they can redesign over here on the outskirts if
Exactly.
they choose to. So I love that. I love the creativity side of things. For you, really, leaning into the AI side of things. Obviously, the skill that you built yourself of learning how to learn skill then carries over in your teaching and how you convey the message, which is just absolutely been a perfect transition for you. But on the real estate side of things, when you were running operations for one of the top mega teams on the planet, how, like, what you were learning there, the way you learn, how did that for you carry over into what you're doing now? Like, how did that kind of set a foundation for you that you still build off of today when you're like, how do I help agents? I mean, listen, if it's not going to help drive more revenue, more profit, or more freedom, then what are we doing?
Yep.
So how has your background of self-taught learning, everything that you've done, as well as the foundation of running one of the top mega teams on the planet, now into really, to me, the forefront of AI, especially AI for real estate agents? How's that carried over for you?
It has been everything. I would not be where I am if Jason hadn't have taken a chance on me and hired me as COO of his company. I literally, I learned everything foundationally from him and from that role, to where I have been able to take those foundations of how to run a team, how to grow a team, and I've been able to plug that into now AI to say, how do we do this better and faster? So just some, real world examples, learning EOS, like how to run, a scorecard and KPIs. Which KPIs should I even select for my business? What rocks or major goals, 90-day goals, should we have to get us to our 1-year goal, to get us to our 10-year goal, those type of things. Organizational charts, like an accountability chart. Who should be responsible for what? Do we have the right people in the right seats? Are they doing the right tasks? And so what I've been able to do is, instead of doing all the manual work, which EOS, if anyone's run it for a company, it's a lot of work. It's really good foundational work. But now, how can I get AI to help me with that automatically? So like in my organization now, we have several employees that work for Phil Stringer, and we have a headquarters online where it pulls in automatically every stat of everything. And John, I'm telling you, every word that is spoken on every Zoom with a timestamp, anytime anyone has ever asked me a question on any live training I've ever done, it pulls anytime we've been asked a specific question in our admin email inbox, and it pulls every question that's ever been typed into the Zoom chat, and it pulls it into an FAQ bank, sorts it by popularity, and then answers the question based on how I answered or the admin inbox has answered. So now we have this full FAQ inbox and it updates every single day. I never have to touch it, right? So now I know exactly what my customers from the last 3 years are wanting to know. One, so that I can build a good answer to that and know what are people needing. But also, two, if they're asking this question so many times, I'm not being clear enough somewhere to where they're having to ask this question. And so it pulls all of our KPIs automatically from all of our tools. So I get an updated look of how much revenue did we make this week? What tools did it pull from? Like what products did we sell to make that number? Are we on target? Or are we off target for our 1-year goal? You know, it's got everything. It's got social engagement. It's got email unsubscribes versus new email subscribers. Are we growing? Every single KPI for my entire business is run on AI. And that's all manual work that I would have had to hire someone to do before to run all of this stuff to say, okay, make sure we pull in this number every week before our meeting. It's all done. I literally don't have to pay someone to do that anymore. And 3 years ago, I did. And so for me, this whole AI boom, it's not like I hate AI avatars, by the way. I can't stand the AI avatars online. And the reason why, I'm not saying we won't get there, but we are in a trust recession right now. People do not trust. Like, I mean, think about it. In general, people don't trust anyone, anything, and AI has made that worse because now we don't know if an image online is actually real or if it's AI generated, or we don't know if this video is real. And the number one thing that we can do to build relationships with our clients in any industry is to build that trust, right? They have to know, like, and trust us. We've all heard that. How am I going to build trust with my clients and my future clients if I am a fake video avatar on my social media and that's all people see? Now, I may be different. People might have different opinions. This is just me. So I will never do the AI avatar thing. I might later. I don't know that I'll never do it. But right now, it's going to be me on social. If it's me because I want to build that trust. And I want to run these live webinars with actually me so people can actually talk to me because it's different from the easy button, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. It really is, man. I love how you put that. I mean, trust is definitely on the decline, right? It's not trust and verify. It's verify, then trust. So that lends to what you're saying, right? We're in this trust recession. So we kind of like the foundation of where we're at, but cutting through all the noise, Phil, where does AI actually stand right now for real estate agents that actually matters?
Yeah. I think that's a perfect question because it's one that most agents want to know. I think the problem that we're running into is that the sexiest hype type of stuff, like here's how to get every video to go viral if you just plug in this prompt, or you can have an AI avatar do this so that all you do is click one button and your entire year's worth of content is automatically posted for you. Well, John, if you can't be bothered to create content, why should I be bothered to watch it? And I think that that's such a, like, your clients want you. And so what we're focusing on now is we're using AI to be this easy button to push one button and all of our content's made for the whole month. And it automatically posts for you and you don't have to do anything. And it ends up being AI slop that no one likes, everyone's frustrated with. So I think that 2026 and beyond, you're going to see a rise of genuine, high quality content is going to matter more, or even not even just high quality. Like, I'm not saying get a professional camera and get it all professionally edited. I'm talking about me picking up my phone and recording myself raw, real, genuine. I think that's going to be on a rise even more than it was before because of all the AI slop. So I say that to say, we're focusing on the hype and the sexy stuff because it's fun and it's cool to see, oh man, there's this AI avatar of me in a private jet sipping on, Chardonnay, whatever, like, cool. But I promise you, your clients don't care. And they probably think it's weird and creepy because it's not really you. Everyone knows that it's not you. We're focusing on the wrong things. If we take that focus from the sexy hype stuff that doesn't really matter and we focus it on is the foundation of my business built the correct way? Do I actually have an accountability chart or goals for this next 90 days? Do I have KPIs that are actually real that can track my business and show the health of my business? And if I don't, I can have AI be a partner because it's smarter than me to help me determine which KPIs should I be tracking for my own business? What rocks should I be having to reach my goal? Use it as this partner, this business partner, this really smart advisor to get the foundation of your business healthy. Because if you throw AI at anything, it will speed up whatever you've got. If you have a mess foundationally in your business and you throw AI, it will absolutely speed up the mess that you have. So use AI on the actual foundational things that make a difference in business. The foundational things of business has not changed. AI did not change. Like, it's literally, you talk about Dan Kennedy, he's the GOAT, and all of his principles still apply to marketing.
Every one of them. Every one of them.
And so AI hasn't changed those foundations. It has allowed you to speed up the process. But if we're focused on, click this thing to make it viral, here's a perfect example, and then I'll let you take it. I was in a conference, and there was a 30-minute AI session, and their whole thing was, I will be able to get you to go viral anytime by using this AI hack. Okay. And the hack was, that there's this tool where you can plug in and it tells you all the top viral videos. And then you can take that video and then repurpose it for yourself. And then you re-record that and you go viral every time. Here's the hack to go viral. Well, I went to the speaker's personal Instagram and they had never had a viral video. So I'm like, if that is a real hack, why have you never done it? And so we have to have, it goes back to the whole filter thing. Like, we can go to YouTube, we can go to TikTok, we can go to Instagram Reels, and we could see this really sexy stuff of like, oh man, they did this and they pushed this button and Jarvis appeared in their room. Okay, make sure your filter of like, is this something that is going to do one of two things? Is it going to save me time, or is it going to sell me more homes? And if it's not, it's probably a distraction.
Dude, I couldn't agree more. And I think there's a lot of distractions out there, and that's, good marketing to great marketing's job is to interrupt you, to get your attention, to distract you. And there's a lot of great out there, and I couldn't agree with you more, man. So you talk about, like, I think you talked about genuine quality, but I also think authentic content is key. Anything there, like, hey man, think about this. And I'm, not going to give tactics or anything like that. I mean, I think it's more so, listen, this is kind of the thought process around your content creation right now. What are some foundational thought processes as people are laying out and executing their content?
I think, it's really good to find inspiration of people who are doing a really good job at the thing that you're wanting to do. So find people who are being authentic online in your niche. And, if you're on Instagram, you have that little save button on the bottom right where you can save it to a folder. I would recommend just create a folder of like inspiration, right? And save any video that you're like, that's a really great video. I love how they did that. And it could be visual. It could be anything that you really appreciate. Like, I love the hook of this video, or I love the font or the colors that it could be anything. And save those videos to this inspiration folder, say on Instagram, and then take it and don't copy it. Like, I hate the whole rip off and duplicate thing that's so popular in real estate. Like, I just think it's kind of cringy. Like, I understand taking something that works and making it your own, but that's completely different from copying someone's intellectual property, which I've had happen to me several times. Like, think for ourselves, guys. Like, use those inspiration pieces to then rewrite it to something that Phil Stringer would do that makes sense for Phil's audience. But don't just copy everyone, right? Make it your own, because if you are yourself, and this goes back to the whole authenticity thing, the whole, trust recession that we've got going on, the more authentic you are and true to yourself, and the more custom you make your content to the people that matter in your circle, like, you will absolutely exceed all of the fake, I'm just going to copy this person because they did it, or Alex Hormozy did this, so I'm going to do it. You're not Alex Hormozy, right? Like, you are you. And I think we get caught up with the views game and like, man, I really want this one to pop off. I want 100,000 views on this. And we almost set the level of like, these are the views that matter. And if it has more views, then that's better. The most money I've made on social media have been from the pieces of content that had the least amount of views, but it went to the right people. It went to buyers.
Yeah. Yep.
Like, dude, if you have 100 people who saw the thing and you got one client from it and you got a new home sale from that one thing, that beats the pants off of a video that had 1 million people and it just went to the wrong audience because it was funny.
Yeah. That's such a great point, right? We're talking about principles, back to Dan, right? Like, listen, doesn't matter how many people are in your audience or in your database. The only thing that matters is how many are proactively engaging with you. That's it.
So true. Yep.
And that's just a great reminder, man. Okay. Yeah. It popped, right? You got 100,000 views. How many of those people actually want to do business with you, actually want to transact with you? So I think it's just a great, great reminder of really what's important and what's not. So Phil, we're talking about like foundation and moving into the future. What are some things that, like, we were chatting through before we came on live? We were chatting through kind of what Kyle shared last week on, Expert Mentors with us about, the current AI tech stack that they're utilizing to run, Whistle Beer, one of the top, real estate team ridges, however you would classify it on the planet. And we were, you and I were chatting through those 5 that they're using, and you're like, well, 2 are going to become, 2 will probably go away, right? 2 will get rolled in. And we're talking about, okay, foundationally, this is what you can do. This is how you need to be thinking about tools. Here's what's probably going to happen. So kind of walk through, listen, we know change, that's the one thing that we can all bet the house on, is it's always going to be changing. But if you're like, okay, but give me my foundation, Phil, give me like, listen, no matter what changes happen, if I have these pieces in place, I'm not going to get as disrupted as somebody that's just chasing the next shiny object.
Yep. The number one thing and the most important thing, foundationally above anything else, is having a second brain, which a lot of people are calling it a second brain. What is a second brain? It is a set of files on your hard drive on your computer that has every bit of context of every single business decision, personal decision, whatnot. If you have a folder with files that you own on your computer, it doesn't matter if Apple comes out with the best large language model in the world a month from now and everyone's like, oh, Claude is junk now. Let's all go to this new large language model. I mean, these tools are changing so fast and they're battling between each other, and there's one is better than the other every single couple weeks, right? Which is great. I mean, that's great for the competition, and they're getting better because of that competition. But what happens when something happens to Claude and it goes away? Or what happens if Claude's no longer the greatest thing in the world and now, Manus is the best thing now? Well, if you have your files on your computer that you own, you can take that brain to any different tool that you want. And so I can plug it into Claude right now. In 2 seconds, I could plug it into ChatGPT and it will know every bit of context because I own the context. What happened before, when ChatGPT first came out, November of 2022 or whenever it was, we all started to use ChatGPT because that was the thing. Well, as other large language models came out, and you're like, oh, I kind of want to try Grok. I kind of want to try Gemini. I want to try Claude. A lot of people have moved to Claude recently. Well, what happened with all of the stuff that we put into ChatGPT? Well, it wasn't on our computer. We didn't save it as files. We didn't save every single conversation as a file. It was in ChatGPT's cloud. And so the only thing that we could do is try and see if we could extract the memory, do an import export type of deal into the other thing. But then we're like, did it actually transfer? How much did it transfer? I've been talking to it for 3 years. Like, does it have everything? So now my whole philosophy on this has shifted to every single thing in my business is created, and it does this automatically. You can set it up to do automatically because it sounds overwhelming to like save a file of every conversation you have, but it turns everything. For me, it's every phone call I have, every text message that I send and receive, every Slack message that I send or receive, every email that I get that's important. I cut out all the junk mail because I don't need that in my second brain. Every physical in-person conversation, because I wear this right here, is called an OMI. It's OMI, and it just records all day. Now, depending on what state you're in, like it could be a one-party or a two-party state, you would need to tell people, if it's a two-party state, that you're recording. In North Carolina, it's a one-party state, so only one party has to consent, and I am the one party. But what it does is it tracks everything that I say all day and pulls out the important stuff. Like, oh, remember you told Sarah that you guys have to do this, but you didn't put it on your to-do list. So it tracks all of that. So you've got all of these different rivers essentially flowing into this one lake of context. And basically at the end of every day, my Claude takes all of that information, turns it into what's called a markdown file. It's a .md, which basically that's just a fancy way of saying it's only a text file. There's only text. There's no images. It's not a fancy Word document or PDF. And AI reads those markdown files way easier than any other type of file. And it's very small. So if you have a ton of data, it's not a large file. You can have thousands and thousands of markdown files before you even get close to any type of, size. And it puts that all into one brain, to where I plug that brain into any tool. Tomorrow, I could plug it into Manus. And I don't ever use Manus. That's not my daily driver. I could plug it into Manus, create a free account with Manus, never use it before, plug it into Manus and be like, hey, what did I need to do yesterday? And it has all context of everything, because I'm no longer tied to the tool. I am now AI tool agnostic, because all of my data lives on my computer in my files, and I can pull it anywhere. So when we talk about foundations, that is the biggest thing that we can do, is create a second brain. So I do live trainings all the time, teaching people how to create their second brain, because it's truly the biggest difference maker for me in my business that I've done in 3 years.
Dude, I was telling you before, that's our team's doing the exact same thing. They're building it. She's got it going on. She's jumped on your trainings to help speed up the process, get her understanding around it. And I couldn't agree with you more. And, it's cool when you have your team that sees it, because she started it before I even kind of like wished the command of, hey, what about this? What do you think I think we should do this. They were already off and running with it. And I think that's, how you want to surround yourself with people that are thinking like that, AI first in everything that we do. Phil, what do you put that brain on? Like, where is the brain living?
So the brain technically lives just on your hard drive. So it's a folder, and you can call it whatever you want. I just called mine second brain, right? Inside of the folder, you then have different files. Now, the beautiful thing about this is, I know everyone listening to this call is like, the last thing I want to do is create a bunch of folders and organize. And all of these things are also cross-referenced with one another. So for an example, if I have a call with you, John, and we're talking about a very specific real estate project that I've got going on, where I'm creating this SaaS product, it's going to be linked to that SaaS product. And it will also be linked to John, because we had that conversation. So everything is cross-linked. Now, I know nobody wants to go in there and physically decide, where does this talk go? Do I need to put it in this folder? Do I need to cross-link it with this? It's done automatically. Claude does it. You literally don't have to do anything but tell it, hey, I want to set up a second brain. I have it do like a little interview process with me, where it interviews my life, and it decides what buckets, what folders to put. And so it lives on your computer. It's real files on your computer. And then I use a tool that's called Obsidian. A lot of people use this. Now, Obsidian is just a visual representation of your brain. It doesn't change the files. It's just showing what the files look like. Do I have screen share abilities on this?
Yes, sir. Just hit the share, and then I'll hit us.
Let me share the screen, and then I will show you what this looks like here. So you should see this now. This is my business brain. And you can see everything that's connected. These are all my testimonials. It pulls testimonials from live people talking on Zoom, because it has the transcription of every Zoom. It pulls testimonials from every Zoom comment, and it pulls testimonials from every phone call that I have, every email we receive. And it's all cross-linked. So you can see here, you've got here's everything that I touch in my business, right? It's probably too much. We need to see if we can get that down a little bit. But if you
Looks like a lot there, Phil. We gotta clean that up.
Just do it. If you zoom in, you've got all of these files. And you can see that everything is cross-linked together. Did I spend 1 second deciding what these buckets would be? No. Claude decided that I needed to have in my company, in Phil Stringer, I need to have brand, calls, clients, communication, community, decisions, all of these different things, testimonials. It made the file structure for me. I did not spend 1 second because Claude is the one filing them, and it cross-links them every single day. It runs while I'm sleeping to add in all the new stuff from all the different rivers and cross-link all of them so that I have full context to everything in my business every day. And I don't ever babysit it. It literally just builds itself.
I love it. So where do people need to start, right? Like, listen, I get it. You're telling me no matter what, this is the foundation. Things are going to change. You're going to want to move to wherever the future goes. You want to be able to have it to be able to move it. So like if they were going to, start today, what are like action item 1 and 2 that they need to take action on today?
I would probably, now I teach this a very specific way where I have pretty exhaustive prompts that like set everything up, and all they have to do is copy the prompt, paste it in, and they follow a step-by-step paint by numbers guide. But if you don't have that guide, I would go to Claude and I would say, hey, look, I want to start building a second brain on my computer. I don't know anything about this process, but I want you to interview me, everything that you need to know about my business and my personal life, so that you can decide what folders to set up in my second brain for me. And then you will take over and you're going to file everything. You're going to cross-link it, right? You're going to babysit it so that I don't ever have to touch it. What do I do? And it will start an interview process with you to figure out because all of us have different folder structures because we live different lives. Like my folder structure would never look like yours, John, because we have different companies, different personal relationships. And so it's custom to your brain. That way it's not this template brain that everyone uses. That's where I would start.
If they didn't want to do the interview and they wanted to just say, hey, Phil, how do I get those prompts? How can they get access to those prompts and get access to you?
So I do a free training on exactly what the second brain is. We're doing one in, 5 days. So on Monday, we're doing one of these for the second brain. It's philstringer.com. And you'll see it. It's on the homepage where it's like, here's our next training, second brain. And I kind of walk through the whole thing on it. Here's exactly what it is. Here's what flows in. There's 8 different rivers that flow in. You don't have to do all 8. If you tell me all I want is my emails and my text messages, done. You can do 2 of the 8. But it basically goes through the whole process of here's how you build it. And again, this is like foundational paint by numbers because I have that type of brain where I'm like, I just need someone to show me exactly what step to do because it's overwhelming, right? So break it down, paint by numbers. I started doing this thing, which this might be helpful for real estate agents to do with their clients as well. You know, when you would like sign up for something and they would give you a PDF, like here's the step-by-step whatever, and you would get a Word doc or a PDF instruction on how to go through things. My brain is so ADD. I would get overwhelmed if the thing were any longer than that, to where I'd be like, I don't even want to read this. I don't want to go through the step-by-step. So I created something called Stringer Steps. And essentially what Stringer Steps are is it's a website that you go to instead of a PDF document. And it gives you the very first step, and you have to go through it. It gives you everything that you need to do. You click, I've completed it. And once you've clicked, I've completed it, you go to the next step. And so for the second brain process, I created these Stringer Steps where it's like, all right, step number 1, you have to have Claude Desktop downloaded to your computer because this doesn't work online. And it goes very basic, but it goes paint by numbers, step by step through the entire thing. And I was like, man, I think real estate agents should actually do these interactive step-by-step things for clients rather than just sending them a Word document. Now, it sounds like a lot of work to create. You literally just put the step-by-step structure that you already have into Claude and say, can you turn this into an interactive guide for me online? Dude, my clients freak out over the Stringer Steps. They love it.
I love it. The interactive guides. I mean, it's so good. So take any of your surveys, anything that has like where they can see a lot. It's so funny you said that. I was laughing when you just said, man, if it's more than this, I'm overwhelmed. I'm testing out Rhythm. Jesse Itzler promotes Rhythm to where it's the once a month to where it just sits on your arm. You hit the red button and it'll extract the blood, and then you mail it in, and it's the top 25 biomarkers that we all
Nice.
must pay attention to. It doesn't expand. Like if there's an issue, I'm sure then you go and expand it, to hit other markers that would be there. But I opened up the step-by-step of how to go about and what you got to do. You got to clean it. You got to put you got to buff the heat, and then you wipe it off, then you put it on. Phil, there's like 27 steps. I was like, holy shit, this is too much. This is too complicated. How can you make this easier?
Yep.
So it's just funny. You even see it today, right? Still, it's like, man, too many steps. We gotta shorten this down. And I think that's also a good reminder of the time and space we're in. Is like, I can promise a lot of everybody's workflows that drive revenue or cut costs. It's probably got a lot of fluff, a lot of, too much. Like,
Yep.
Look at those systems and how can you chop it down to 3 steps or 4 steps instead of the 27. I think it's just a great reminder. But guys, listen, what Phil's talking about, Phil's right. And the most important thing that we all have to understand, the only thing that's going to change is change. And there'll be another tool. They're used to, 2 weeks ago, there were only 2 horses in the race. Then all of a sudden, Elon's back in the race. Meta's going to be in the race. Oh my gosh, they're going to let, a Chinese Hail Mary come over the top. Are they going to let that be in the race? Right. Like, you never know. It changes all the time, so that you got to have something that you own, you can control. It's like we talk about agents in their database. It's like, if your people live on Facebook, you're just a hitchhiker, and Zuck come tomorrow and change everything, and you lose access to all of it. So like, what do you control? What do you own? Get everything in there. And no matter what change in the future, you got something you can plug right in, and you're up and running, and you don't lose that downtime. So key. Brother, what is the one thing as we wrap up here? Maybe it's a book, maybe it's a thought, maybe it's a mindset, but what's the one thing that could really help agents right now battling the power and the speed of AI to make sure they're in the right frame of mind, how to think about it, how to handle it now and into the future?
Very simple. Stop asking AI how to do something, and stop telling AI how to do something. Just tell it the result that you want. I think a lot of times we're used to saying, hey, write me a blog, 500 words, this type of tone, and you're telling AI how to create the thing. Tell AI why it matters to you. What's the result that you want to happen from you posting the blog? AI is now smarter than all of us. If we tell it what we want the result to be, it is smarter to know the how to get it to your result. Just tell it the result. So you almost start from the end and work backwards. That's the biggest thing that will change the content that you create, the results, the output that you get from AI, is think of the result. Why are you even posting this content? Why are you creating this content? What do you want from it? Because posting a blog just to post a blog, we can post a blog. But are you wanting a new buyer client from it? Well, tell it that that's the result that you want from the blog, and write that blog based on the result.
Yeah. So good, man. Start with the end in mind. So good. I love it. Brother, I appreciate you. Proud of you. Thank you for jumping in here, really embodying what this whole Expert Mentor series has been about from day one, right? Just amazing agents pouring back into the community, just giving. And dude, you're an example of that, an inspiration of just pouring back and adding value back into the community. So can't thank you enough, brother. And listen, guys, if you guys aren't following Phil, if you're not getting on Phil's trainings, go to philstringer.com, jump on that second brain conversation, and really take control of the future. Phil,
Appreciate you
brother,
so much, man.
Appreciate you. Thank you, guys.
Yeah.
We'll see you next time. See ya.